Blakey and Tucks, they're talking Cardiff City and some other stuff. Blakey and Tucks, Doel asked the questions on Blakey's Bootroom. Will always be blue.
Good afternoon, welcome once again to Blakey's Bootroom here on Wales Online. Nathan and Steve in the studio in the wake of that incredible 4-1 victory on the weekend.
I'm getting into it.
What a time to be alive.
I know,
Incredible.
Now, what are we going to be negative about? Let's get this started now. No!
Russell Slade said probably up there with the best.
No, probably.
The best of.
Well, I thought, I think Wolves away was a very good.
Home,
yes, that's the best home performance. They've both come quite recently, which is just the TV cameras, their early kick-off. It's one of those, everything went kind of right for Cardiff, and we don't come in here and say that very often. Funnily enough, really early on, I thought Brighton were bossing, and then suddenly Cardiff got the breakthrough, and they never really looked back.
Yeah, they just jumped on them, didn't they?
They really just dominated them. And it got to the point that every time Cardiff sort of started sweeping forward, Brighton were just like, hang on, they were on the ropes. They were rocking and rolling. So, lovely. I mean, well-taken goals, strong, terrible conditions, obviously windy and rainy and horrible, but, good at the back, limited chances. Okay, they conceded the one, but no, just went completely right. And I just felt it was down to that little, there's been some debate about the formation, but just that little, not so much, well, I thought it was quite a revolutionary change, but without Noom, without Amiobi, I thought Slade's hand was a bit forced. And for me, when they were lining up best there, it looked to me like as people know, I'm no big formation expert guy, but it looked like a 4-2 kind of 3-1 with Rowles and O'Keefe sitting there, and then in front of that you had Whittingham on the one flank, kind of Lawrence pushed out wide, but I thought he looked much more dangerous than he had. Immers in the middle with Pilkington up top, and that just worked. Suddenly, you looked at it.
Said though,
it's quite fluid.
They were defending in numbers. They were getting forward. There was so much support in the box for a change.
But that's been the criticism, isn't it? One of the criticisms we labelled that the current management staff was being able to adapt. I've said many a times, you can't get away with just having one system these days. You have to be able to play. And like you said, to me, it was probably the best they've looked in a long time.
It looked like a real coherent unit. Everybody was drilled, knew what they were doing. And
the goals went in the right time.
The goals went in perfectly. I mean, as we were just saying before we came on, there was that little wobble with the 3-1, and you thought, oh no, and then they got the penalty, the deserved penalty. Arguably should have had one earlier when Manga was dragged down, but no, and they looked fresh. They looked dangerous. They took their chances for a change.
It was wonderful. They looked what I know. There's been some debate this season between whether the squad is good enough or not. I've said all along, I think it's good enough. It's just trying to maximise the potential. They looked like they were getting, if you're saying out of each player you want to try to get 10 out of him, if you get an 8 out of each player, then you
win.
You normally win. But they've been, for large amounts of the season, they've been producing 5s and 6s. You would say Saturday, along with the Wolves game I seen a couple of weeks ago, they were two 8-9 performances. It wasn't a team. I didn't think a Middlesbrough or Derby, anyone. I don't think anyone would have really beaten us on Saturday. So, if you can get them firing at that level, what they played Saturday, and what, like Tux made a good point there, 2 good results over recent games against, fancied teams. They can do it. They can, it's not too late. They can definitely get into that playoff. And I don't even think, like I've said, aiming for 6 is stupid to me. You go for it and you land where you land. The higher you go for, fall short into 4th or 5th, great.
Get a distinct impression as well, leading off from that a couple of those up the top are starting to. I know Derby won. I think did Sheffield Wednesday.
They lost.
They lost.
Yeah.
And you're looking at Borough themselves. Look at Brighton there. Suddenly they're all kind of like
Borough
that is exactly what Cardiff needs. Is the jitters.
Wednesday they lost. Ipswich, I think they lost. Yeah, I think they can. It's still not too late, but what they need is that kind of performance. 3 or 4 wins. We need a run.
That is it, isn't it? I mean, isn't that it now? I mean, in every report I was doing out of the game on Saturday, I constantly had to add that they must build on that, surely now. Confidence must be absolutely sky high. They got a system somehow in place. I mean, I don't know. I mean, fair play to Slade. He played it there. How much is by luck or judgment? Who cares? It's there.
Well, it's not luck. You don't pick.
No, it's not luck. It's not luck. But I mean, all right.
No,
but
give
your
credit
hands
where it's
forced.
due.
No,
Give
okay,
credit where it's due.
okay. Give him some credit.
Give credit where it's due. It's not luck.
But whatever. The way they are there, if they don't capitalise on that,
you're never going again, are you?
Forget it. You can forget it. I mean, if you do not build on such a great performance and such a good feeling, and it's time for that 3 or 4 game run. I mean, I'm not saying going to Borough. I mean, crikey, if they said 0-0, I'd be like, cheers.
No, but we said last week they seem to perform better when they're up against. The only team I think they've played in the top 6 who I felt they kind of lay down was Derby away.
Well, and Hull have done them a couple of times as well.
Yeah, but Derby away was they turned up like they knew they were beaten, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was a poor performance. That's the only. I didn't see the Hull away game. I wasn't there, but that's the only performance I would say, which I thought, oh man, that is just like, you've laid down there.
But Blakey was exactly right. Then you looked at that performance against Brighton and you thought, I don't think anyone would live with that in this division. I don't care. So. You put Hull there, you put Borough there, you put Derby there.
I think they give you good games. Middlesbrough,
I'm just saying
they give you good games, but I think on that performance, what you're starting to see is the potential. Whether they maximise that potential is a different matter. But you seeing, I think most people would now agree. Okay, then the squad is good enough.
Yeah,
is my point. Yeah. We are good. We have got enough players and good enough players. If we just I think playing the same system all the time doesn't allow certain players like your Immers who played in different systems, to flourish, if you like. I think it was just too rigid, and they've just
that just seems to more fluency in their game. That setup, just as you just said, it just seems to suit the individual components so well. Pilkington. Come on, brilliant. I mean, born again striker. I noticed Slade saying not a makeshift striker. Fair enough. Up there, he looks devastating in the box. Good finishing. Whittingham now back out on that left role, but kind of like more offensively minded. Brilliant.
Not having to worry so much about tracking back and defending.
Because he knows he's got O'Keefe behind him. He's got Rolls. They're both full of legs, both full of cover.
So you're not asking Wits no more to do up and down. You ask him to do up and partially down. Yeah. So, he knows he's not going to have to conserve energy. If he's getting most of his ball
in the final third, Wits, he's onto a good thing. Couple of that, Lawrence, as I said earlier, much more effective, just pushed out that bit wider, coming in. He didn't score, he did all but score. Fantastic game. And my man of the match was Immers, who I thought just behind Pilkington there. He looked like exactly
what you needed.
They needed. We were saying that we need this. They got him then. Yeah. You suddenly got him. Coming deep.
But they've got lots of... in the air. I think the point is, Tux, I think what a lot of people were saying was they've got the players to be able to adjust in different formations. I think Saturday was a prime example of that.
Yeah.
It was just it clicked. I tell you what, though, I wish it had clicked in November.
No, I'm saying negative.
Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy.
Hey, the people,
We're greedy and full enough.
Watch my six-pack, son. Watch my
We'll
six-pack.
talk about his wardrobe request.
Oh, no. Hey, what goes on? I'm not,
Never reveal
that's
your
it, I'm not
secrets to the
telling you
dog.
anything anymore.
You know the dog.
I'm not telling you anything.
Right, let's have a few comments, a few positive comments.
Hope so.
Not too bad at all, is it? Not too bad at all. Joey Dwyer saying, for the first time in 2 years, we look like a real unit. Paul from Grangetown, great win, but we need this every game now for what we have left. I still think we can make second if we go on an unbeaten run.
Is that what you were hinting at, Blake?
I don't disagree, Tux.
No?
Honestly,
Really?
the way the teams
What's the
are
table
going.
looking like, though? He said not knowing what the table looks like.
Imagine.
I haven't looked at the top two in a long time.
I know.
Paul got a cup game now, yeah?
Yeah, they got the Arsenal
Against
replay,
Arsenal.
haven't they?
Replay. Imagine they go and win that. You know, they're going to have half an eye then on Wembley. Yeah. Middlesbrough, I think, are really... I think the pressure's
They're
getting to
shaking,
them.
yeah, they're
because
shaking,
their
yeah.
expectancy, you know, all of a sudden, like, you know, we've got a massive budget. We've been up here all season. We're expected. People think because of our manager and how organised we are, we're expected to go on. Well, you know, pressure does strange things to people. Sheffield Wednesday.
Let me get this straight.
There's no one at the moment who I would say.
If we win at Borough,
I think that
top
sends
two
out a
is
massive. I think that sends out a massive statement. I honestly
What's
do.
the table look
and
like,
if you
though?
if you go up and beat Borough 3-1, 2-0,
I
3-0.
won't be able to sleep in my travel lodge after that. I'll be tossing and turning all night in my little travel lodge.
I just think
My little Russell
other
Slade teddy.
teams would have looked at Cardiff all season and thought, for the squad of players they've got, they're underachieving. Then all of a sudden, we always say someone comes with a late run.
The Reading of this year.
Why can't it be Cardiff?
What's the table
Why
look
can't
like,
Cardiff
Dolly?
end up in
Just go to Google and type in champ.
You've got it all up here.
So, it's memorised. It's memorised.
Cardiff is currently 10 points off second place. So Burnley are on 59 points. Cardiff are on 49 in seventh. Both played 32 games.
lot.
Borough are on 58 in third, but they've got 2 games in hand on Burnley. So 10 games with what, 14 matches to play, is it? 10 points, sorry, with 14 matches to play. It's too much.
It's too much, innit?
It'd have to be some collapse.
When somebody says it to me logically,
Yeah,
what do the
it's-
viewers think? Let's have your message. Can they make the top? Is this going too positive? Or
No, I think it's they can do it. Like the point I've made previously is what the problem you've got is you're expecting 6-7 other teams to all have a nightmare.
yeah, they're going to have to start.
And there's going to be, out of those 7-8 teams above us, 4 of them are going to, I
Like
would say,
Burnley
3 or
are
4
gonna
of
keep
them
their
are going to
cool or
hold it
something,
together,
yeah.
right? They'll have a blip here and there, but 3 or 4 of them will hold it together. You're looking for 2 or 3 of them to really hit the buffers, and I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
Well, look, let's not get greedy. The playoffs would be absolutely fantastic anyway. And,
But if Cardiff went,
and if they win, and I mean, if you
Cardiff went
you know what it's like with the playoff?
win, I bet you they'd be 4th. If
And
they
you know what
won the
it's-
next 3 games.
Anyway, you know what it's like with these playoffs? How often does someone go on that run, creep into 6, and then go through
6th place
Wembley?
usually wins the
Yeah,
finals,
so it's
doesn't
always,
it?
you know, you've got that one in third that's usually devastated. They didn't finish second, you know what I mean? Sometimes.
Then the
so-
argument comes, oh, we beat this team in 6 by 12 points, we shouldn't have to play them, and
Yeah, they all know the
psychologically
rules. They
they're
all know
gone.
the rules when they start the
That's
season.
right.
I was just looking back on that Middlesbrough game from a few years ago. and that was
Yeah,
a
we'll talk about that.
cautionary
maybe in a bit more,
tale.
detail. Yeah, it was
Indeed.
good tale. Let's have a few more comments in because I was whipping through them. We did a good unit, great win, top performance and a great team effort. Says Alex, did Slade accidentally stumble across the best way this team can play?
Oh, give him some credit. Come on, fellas.
Big part of this now is
Well, why didn't he play it earlier?
consistency.
We've been saying that
Why
for
didn't he
months.
play it
We've
earlier?
been saying it for months.
Well, if he didn't
Change
stumble
the
upon it, was he
system.
thinking, right, I'll wait.
Maybe watch the boot
I'll
room.
tell you what, I'll wait till
Maybe
February
watch
to unleash that 4-2.
maybe watch the boot room and thought, maybe what they're talking
Well,
about.
I
There
tell
is
you
a
what.
possibility. Let me just have a little
I
switch
tell you
around.
what, if that's the case,
Maybe.
if we do get promoted, I'm taking the credit for it.
So you should.
I'm going to be on the front of the open top
And so
bus
you
like
should.
that.
And so you should.
So cheers,
I'll be
man.
right behind you, going like that.
I don't like the sound.
He's number
I'm
one.
not sure I like the sound of that, but I'll go along
Could
with
turn
it.
ugly, that could. Steve says great performance on Saturday, but silly points dropped throughout the season will still cost us. I think real shame is this team is not far away from automatic promotion side. He looks back Burnley, Sheffield Wednesday, MK Dons, Charlton, Rotherham, just to name a few games that will really add up when it really matters. Tomorrow's game is huge, he says. The boys really need a win, which I think we'll all agree. Let's talk a bit more detail about Peter Whittingham. Obviously, you've touched on there. With the Toshak record,
88 goals
through that this weekend. I read a comment that he spent more time in the box in this match than he has in the previous 5 years. Basically, just with that new system.
Well, not all added together, surely. He was in the... Which box was it? Was it one of the hospitality boxes after, right?
I don't know. It's just,
we just said...
That is a stat
you
job.
want wit. You want wits now. I mean, he said afterwards, the thing about Whittingham, he's always quite honest and revealing in interviews. Afterwards, he said those days of sitting in front of the back four, central, dictating play, he says himself, he thinks they're over. He just hasn't got that in his capability. You shift him out left and move him up where he's receiving the ball, like he's saying, much further up the field in advance. He looked like a different player.
He always does, doesn't he?
He looked dangerous.
When he's if you notice with Witt's form as well, he has a very long run in the team, and then whenever he's been rested, dropped, whatever you want to call it, taken out of the firing line for a bit and then put back in, he always comes good.
Yeah.
It's like revitalised. I think there's been a tendency to rely on him, almost an over-reliance upon him at times. Do you know what I mean? And, you still hear now, the season he scored 21 goals and that was a long time ago. He's aged 3 or 4 years since then. Do you know what I mean?
6 years. That was like 2010.
Well, there you go. I'm thinking 3 or 4. So,
he's been in 9 years now.
Which is, but I've said in the past, I think he's the kind of player that you can actually, you use him as a pawn now. You put him in different spots because he's got the ability. He definitely Championship 46 games plus your cup games and everything. You don't expect the older players to be able to. Do you want to take that?
My weekly call from my wife, probably.
Okay. She does know that you're like working in a job.
I told her you were working.
Hey, we're not going on that one.
Joke every week.
The moral of the story: turn off your phone when Blakey.
I think he's the type of player now, which I would keep on and just say, right, I'd expect. The way the games go in squad game, you expect if you can get 25 games out of Peter Whittingham, which you're going to get quite comfortably, he's still dropping the best part of 40 to 50 games a season. Get 25 games out of him a season, 30 games, because that effectively is what most...
He's only 31, by the way. He's not like he's 31.
Mate, listen, when you start, he's never been a pacey player.
No, well, that's all right
so you still lose pace.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's now where you start.
Like a geriatric, though. Shouldn't he be almost not in his prime, but he should still be...
No. You're not going to run as... Mate, you take injuries and everything into account. When you get past 30, they start, your recovery time is longer and stuff like that. And just general day-to-day, your pace isn't what it was when he was 26, 27. As simple as that. The days of your prime at 32, mate, that was in my day. Even, in fact, it was before my day. There was no prime at 32. Your body's so battered. Your prime, effectively, if you start at 18, your prime is effectively 25 to about 29.
Yeah.
That is, those are your prime years. Now, I look at Peter and think, now's the time where you really manage him. You really, you wrap him up. You say, right, you don't have to play in that game. Don't travel this week. You pick and choose games where you can utilise him. And I think if you can, like I said, if you can get 25, 30 games out of the season, which I know you can, then, that's the way the game's going. It's now more of a squad-based game. It's not, you do want an 11, but you want to get that consistency in the 11, and then you make tweaks here and there. You don't change 5 or 6 players at a time. One in, 2 in, 1 out, whatever. You just make little tweaks to your system and different players throughout the season. And you end up probably using 18 players, 20 players as a maximum.
A couple more. Rob says Wits is a class act and he's now being used in the right system, a true Bluebirds legend.
Amazing.
Andrew says Peter Whittingham should be given the freedom of the city for what he's done for the last 9 years. Still our most technically gifted player even after all this time.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. I mean, And as you say, the overtaking Tosh in the all-time scorings, and Hughie Ferguson, who I used to prefer with the News. You remember Hughie Ferguson in the News? Hip to be square. I did that joke on the weekend, and people were
That's because it was Lewis on it, Huey Lewis.
Oh, Huey Lewis. I knew that.
That's why it went down like a lead balloon.
I keep getting confused. I keep getting confused with Bruce Hornsby and the Range as well. But that's another story. But he, I mean, the guy's a legend.
Yeah.
We know that. It's given. Even moving forward, if he was to turn around and say,
all I want to say is, if he has a bad run of games now, don't be switching on him, right? Just try and think of ways where you can develop his game a little left or right, you know, because that's what I think a lot of people do, get on his case when he has a bad run, rather than, to me, his bad run of form this season before he was left out was, like I said, I just think it's just too much reliance upon him for too long. You know what I mean? We're not playing well.
We said virtually all season that midfield, as it was, being regularly sent out there. Remember the old lopsided thing, and it wasn't working at all. And Witts was in the heart of that,
didn't
and
have
it
enough
wasn't
legs
working.
in there. Right, well, we know we didn't have enough legs for a central midfield.
That's all in the past.
And now he's put back out on the left, but not expected to defend as much because he's got two midfielders behind him. It's like, it's logic, common sense. But, you know, it still takes the manager to do it, and he's done it.
Your favourite Cardiff City player to deal with, Tuck, still? As a guy as well, you're a big fan, aren't you?
Whittingham? Oh, he's a dream. He's a dream. I mean, he's always nice and I often find in football, well, the first thing I'd say, because I don't know if people are interested in being a football reporter or what, I don't know, but there seems to be an idea outside the game that most football players are like overpaid, arrogant guys who want to punch your lights out, and they are, yeah, here he is. No, but I would say, from my experience, that 90% of them, if not more of that, are always really top guys and really nice, and within that, Whittingham is just one of the best. He's just all, friendly. And I think, like any class act, I often find this with players like that, from an interview perspective, the better the player is, the easier they are to interview. I think because maybe they're more relaxed in their skin. You know, they're not afraid of saying the wrong thing or upsetting. So they're usually, and Whittingham was very much like that. Like I said, he said, my day, I can't see myself playing as a playmaker then. That's done for me. Brutally honest, refreshingly honest, and that's what he's been like since the day he arrived. Did someone say a class act? A total class act. On the pitch and off the pitch.
Good stuff. Good stuff. The club itself being called a class act by lots of people at the minute on the Twitter
Is this
feed,
an alternative Bootroom? Is the one where they're slagging everyone off next door?
Season ticket prices, literally just, I know you don't know much about this, Blakey, because you were driving in, but literally before we came in, prices for next season, and it was a good time to announce it the day after a weekend where you won 4-1. Slight reduction in price from last season, 2-year freeze if you buy them before April, is it something like
April 4th,
that? April 4th, but
is it 2 years after this?
Generally being greeted, 2 years after this, being greeted, there's a new student price as well. You can get 99 quid season ticket if you're a student. That's not bad, is it?
That's brilliant.
Flaming students.
But generally very positive vibes leading on from the Vincent Tan visit, which, although colourful and a bit weird, was generally positive as well, wasn't it?
That's the best description I've heard of a Tan. Colourful but a bit weird. That's
and the Langston's deal being
Langston being put to bed.
I don't know. Listen,
some of the issues we've talked about.
We don't know that. I think it's okay for us to. I mean, they are all positives. They are great moves by the club. Anything which is a reduction in price for the fans is brilliant. I don't know what. I know what the general consensus has been for a long time, whether results and Langston's and season tickets is enough to try and get back, 14, 15, 16,000 season tickets. I don't know, mate, but the proof will be in the pudding.
There's one way they could do it, by getting promoters to the Premier League. That would certainly put a lot more season tickets on there. And someone could argue that the other way to do it would be to bring a new manager in.
Why have you just dropped that in there? Where's that coming from?
No, because you're looking across the board at reasons why. Season ticket prices too expensive. Okay, we're reducing them.
But you've just come off the back of a great result.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I know we come off the back of a great result. I'm just saying, there's a lot of people out there. You don't think they'd add season tickets to that? No. If they were suddenly to say, right, Slade's going at the end of the season, next season Craig Bellamy's in charge, I'm not saying that's the right thing in any shape or form, but I'm just saying if they announce that, you don't think that would add?
Oh, of course it would.
Exactly. Well, all I'm saying is ways of they could sell.
Right.
And I mean, and the biggest one of all by far is get promoted to the flaming Premier League is the best way to put that. That big stand up there would be full then for Liverpool, and you'd be up in hospitality with your prawn sandwiches and your champers. You know, but I mean, you've got to say that would be one way possibly how they would put more bums on seats.
If Cardiff make the playoffs, and even if they don't win the playoffs, but they're a real good, tilted it, made the final, even lost, in heroic fashion, that would get people excited. They went behind Slade, wouldn't it? Just that achievement of...
I think that's definitely would be Slade's best route to ensuring that he was in the job next season, would be to exactly do that, get them into the playoffs and not win the playoffs. Because I think there would be serious thought that if they did go up, worried if he was... Russell Slade's shelf life at Cardiff in the Premier League would be smaller than like something that would be very, very short, because I think that he would go into it with people around him thinking, is he up to... I know he's got to see it, but is he going to be up to it? If they showed any signs of... I think they would act very quickly, but
I can't tell you that with Vincent Tander, who, whatever you think, but he does seem like a sort of loyalty, and
yes,
does seem like a real big thing to him. Whether you believe
honour,
it,
loyalty,
but it is a big thing.
Potentially. All I'm saying is I got no reason. I'm just saying there's people who have doubts about his ability to manage in the Premier League anyway, and I would just bet my bottom dollar that any sign of early weakness with the desire to stay in there would I mean, loyal or not, would bring very, very quick action. But then again, that's not a stick to beat Slade with. I couldn't get crikey anybody put in charge of it. Lost 4 games on the bounce in there would suddenly be like,
well, start off so positively.
I can't. It's too positive for me. I can't hook into the vibe.
Okay.
Albert says Tux is right. The Slade factor will still be an issue with the fans that have stopped coming.
Yeah, we know that.
Just now you're arguing again, going, "Oh, what are you saying?"
No, I'm saying I thought we were just going to keep it kind of positive.
Well, there's no written rules for the boot room.
Okay, already.
The boot room is a movable feast.
Okay.
Usually a very negative movable.
Okay.
Feast. No, crikey, I'm as impressed by anyone by what happened Saturday. I would love to see them go on a 3-4 game run now. I would
just dream about that.
That's our new T-shirt.
Let's go for a run.
Let's go on a 3-4 game run. Let's all go on a 3-4. But crikey, you look at Brighton. You look at the Brighton game. You think, why can't they do it?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's never been a satisfactory explanation why they are so consistently inconsistent, is there? Nobody's ever kind of managed to sort of say, "Oh, it's that."
You'd have to be behind the scenes.
Yeah.
To see the whole thing.
Because there does seem from the outside a real vibe right now with all the things you put together, the things we just...
You expect them to go to Middlesbrough and get a result.
Well, I don't mind
not
them
win.
Yeah.
But we said last week, I thought they'd struggle against Brighton, and I thought they'd go and beat Middlesbrough. I really did, because I think the pressure is on Middlesbrough severely. I don't think at this moment in time there's any pressure on Cardiff, because I think most people are resigned to them finishing around about 7th or 8th or 9th or 10th.
It's a good game for them, really.
So I would say the form they're in, off the back of that result, Middlesbrough are probably thinking, oh no. So all we need is a Cardiff City, 2,500 travelling fans. Well, that's if they,
really
1,000 travelling fans and going nutty, and Cardiff City coming full of confidence, brim with confidence, and go away and beat us 2-0.
To the stadium, isn't it? Or am I dreaming that?
I think probably dreaming that one.
I'm sure it's being beamed back.
Don't get anyone in on a home game. What are you going to beam it back for?
just an empty screen. One man on his time. Maybe I'm dreaming.
I think you are.
Maybe I'm dreaming that. Perhaps somebody could enlighten me.
I think if we were like 4th or 3rd, and we played
so in a few weeks they're being back.
Yeah.
In a few weeks they're being back. Kind of thing. But no, but it's a good game for Cardiff, I think, as Blakey was saying, because the pressure's not on them.
I prefer them to play a Middlesbrough than play a Rotherham. Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, the way the form has gone this year, I'd rather them play a team up above than one of the lowly teams, because
I think it's a very good game.
Psychologically, they seem to just I don't know if
they were always flat, aren't they?
Yeah, they just don't seem to get up for that lower league. Those teams in the lower part of the table, they don't seem to get up for those games as they should, off the back of great results previous to it. You think, right, go and steamroller them now, but it's just been the inconsistency. But you know,
so good time to go to Borough. They were out of winning 5 league games.
Exactly.
We were chatting. Maybe we'll mention that Borough, the infamous Borough saga of
crikey,
2011. Actually, because we were talking about it this morning. You done a little piece
we did a little piece on it. Yeah, just remember that 3-0 defeat at home. Remember that put paid to the
the promotion hopes.
Here we go. That was some negativity.
The end of Dave Jones, pretty much.
Yeah, it was the final nail just about Dave Jones. That was just ahead.
I remember going to they asked a few of the old players to come to the end of the season because the fans were in such uproar that they didn't want to speak to the current players.
They could only just handle seeing faces.
And I remember being inside, and it was the temperature.
Was this after Jones had gone, or
no? He was still there. He was at the dinner.
Was it ahead of the playoffs? Was it still, or would it have been?
No, I think it was. I think they
lost the playoffs to Reading.
Yeah, they had lost. So it was over, basically, and then they had their dinner. And I remember, there were a few fans on tables who were not happy. Yeah, were not happy.
That was a shocking result, that really. I mean, a dreadful performance, and I mean, it still sticks in the craw, really. I mean,
what I could say, Dave Jones actually made a statement, didn't he, about the night out that had happened prior to the game?
Yeah, things like that, and I think fans had seen players drunk and stuff like that.
Yeah,
exactly. I think they'd had a players doing and gone on a razzle after it.
Yeah,
and it was just Dave Jones saying I didn't, give my permission for that to happen, but he had said, like I said, they can have 1 or 2 drinks, but those footballers are daft like that. 1 or 2 means 21, 22. You know what I mean?
Maybe in your day.
But this time it's going to be different.
Indeed.
On hopes.
Indeed. Let's have a few more comments then. Rob saying, I like Slade as a person, but as a manager, the jury is still out for me. He says he stumbled across his team on Saturday because of injuries. Let's hope he keeps this team and go on. Or he will keep this team. There's no way this team's changing for tomorrow.
He can't change that team. If he changes that team
brings Amiobi
for anything other than injury, and they lose, he would leave himself there's no defending him in any way, shape or form.
And he's got to go with that.
But going away from home, that is more of a away from home system.
Yeah.
Well, I thought
that is the kind of
actually thought that
to get it
more suited.
To get it at home and work so well, that should give you the confidence to be able to go to Middlesbrough and actually really go for them. Not
because
think defensively.
You can sit
go
there.
For them.
You can really just sit there.
Stewie can sit.
Stewie McKeith sweeping up round the back. The godlike genius of Stewie O'Keefe. I thought he played brilliant again. I don't care what anybody. I've noticed I've only given him 7 out of 10. I must have been on as my horrible
humbug.
Tom Lawrence, but I don't know. The weird thing is, it just looks like it. When you're sort of searching for something, you think, I'm not quite sure what I'm looking. Still haven't found what I'm looking for. It's YouTube. And then you don't know you were looking for it until you see it. It felt a bit like that. It was like, oh crikey, hang on, no, that is it.
No, I think a lot of people thought they
did. I
think a lot of people have seen. I think a lot of people have said we need to change formation from time to time. We need adaptable formations. We've said it on the air.
I know you said it.
You know what I mean? And I think it wasn't a case where you just do it for the sake of doing it. I think the players we had at our disposal, you're allowed to do it. If you've got,
it was a perfect team selection.
7 or 8, 9 or 10 injuries, then you're going to struggle to be able to adapt all the time. But we had a massive squad. Do you know what I mean? The 20 odd registered players. I just thought, you had such a, you had wingers who like to play wing, but can also play up in a 3, so they can play in a 4-4-2, like Noon and Pilkington, but they'd also play as 1 striker and 2 wide strikers. So there's so much adaptability.
Okay.
And I think this is proving it by Pilkington playing as a false number 9, if you like, because he can play right across that.
Hey, if Kenwyn Jones was still here, would you have him in this?
but he's not. So I don't really.
But do you think almost now they're slightly better off not having him?
No.
They've stumbled upon a.
No.
You got less enthusiasm for this subject than I imagined you had.
Yeah, because it's looking backwards. It's done and dusted. I can't do nothing about
never
that.
looking back.
I'm looking on what we got now.
The future's so bright.
Yeah,
you gotta wear
Kenwin,
shades.
that's
that guy.
You know, once he's gone, he's gone. Do you know what I mean?
Is that what I'm going to be like when I'm done with the review? Tucker, I was all right. Don't think about that. I'm outside with my.
No, but you know what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? When he was here,
I think
you
the
could talk about it.
so far, everything that happened in January seems to have actually worked out rather well.
World's greatest transfer embargo has just arrived.
Transfer embargo.
Because I mean, Lex Immers wouldn't have even. I mean, Slade said he wouldn't have gone for Immers if he hadn't been under transfer. He was seen as a sort of like slightly lower, kind of like
for Lex on here.
Oh, I love Lex.
Seems like a real predator.
Good finisher. Yeah.
Perfect replacement for Tony Watt. Good direct. Good finish and stuff, which is strange because some of the when he first signed, obviously we didn't know.
He looks like a better finisher than
we didn't know much about him. I mean, we spoke to a few people in Holland, didn't we? And there was a couple of reports on him which weren't overly complimentary.
Oh, you know what they're like in Holland. You know what they're like.
Typical Dutch.
Could be any.
And that's like an under 23 league as well, the Dutch league.
Yeah.
It's not, I think, bigger name players have come out and struggled. If you look at someone like Depay at Manchester United, I think he was expected to come and rip it up, and
he could have had
just can't handle it.
2 goals in 2 games.
Depay 2 goals in 22
2 goals
games.
in 2
Freddie
starts.
backing up Tucker's thing there. Amazing to think that Kenwin gone, our top earner, and Joe Mason sold for $3.5 million, and yet we are a far better team without them.
Without a striker.
I would say don't get too carried away off the back of a couple of good results, like, you know what I mean? Because, if we go and, listen, the flip side is you go and lose to Middlesbrough and lose your next 3 games, I guarantee you those comments would be,
I can't believe
if we sold Kenwin Jones and
he
you
would have sorted it out.
What was the point? We are always not going to get, so,
Well, this is the problem.
Just reflect on what we got and what we're doing and analyse that.
I know this is coming through all the time, but it's that you don't quite know where you're going to go with it now. You've got this good thing. You're saying this is great. You're looking at it going, this was brilliant. But
we had this feeling after Wolves.
Well, exactly.
We?
So we've been here before.
Yeah,
so you've
that's
got,
what I'm trying to say.
It's not so much trepidation.
People to.
But it's almost like a step into with Cardiff under Slade. This is a step into like another mystery zone because you're saying, how on earth are they got the Twilight Zone? How will this be followed up? Well, and you know what? You're totally right. But I'm glad you say you're glad it's Borough. I am.
Yeah.
Because if this was Rotherham away, I'd be thinking, crikey. No. But with Borough, like...
Game on.
Let's be honest, even if they lose, I mean, it will be a hit. But you're not going to be turning around going, oh my God, okay, this is Borough.
I really don't think they will lose.
No, I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying if they did, it wouldn't be such a big hit to them.
If they
picked themselves up, was it Preston home then on Saturday, isn't it? And I mean,
Yeah, even if they lost to Borough, or playing in a good fashion, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
If you go and beat Preston, but Preston are on a good run this season as well.
Yeah,
fancy them.
Preston are coming up.
They're on a good run.
On the rails.
Yeah, so that'll be another good game. But I mean, if you take Brighton, then you go and beat Borough, then you beat Preston, you've got 3 teams who are all on Middlesbrough on a 5-game dodgy run, but they're up there. But Brighton on a good run after a bad run, up there. And Preston are coming on a good run. So you've demolished 3 teams who are in confident mood at this moment in time of the season. I think that does wonders for your confidence as a team. But it is that back-to-back feeling where you win 1, you win 2, you win 3. All of a sudden you think, oh, it's not luck, it's not a fluke. We're actually better than most of the teams we're playing against.
They've got some big ones coming up on the horizon. I can't remember, but there's Ipswich coming up, isn't there, at home?
Yeah, March is a big month.
And then there's...
I'll tell you exactly now.
There's Sheffield Wednesday still to come.
But they've got pretty much all the teams around them.
It's a
big run coming up now.
There's Borough away, Preston at home, then a couple of big rivalry games at Bristol City away, Leeds at home.
We owe Bristol one because we were shocking at home against them.
Yeah. Oh God, that was one of the worst games.
That was a 0-0
draw.
That's right.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, Marshall made that worldy save, point blank header from the lad up front for Bristol
City.
City.
You described that as the like the worst 90 minutes of your entire life or something.
Hey, I've been married, man.
This
I
is
tell
why
you,
I say,
I've had worse 90 minutes.
John, now this is why I say, don't get too up on a good result and don't get too down on a bad result.
Crikey.
Try and maintain a level, especially with how inconsistent we
Hey,
are.
Blakey, look, I'm the excitable sidekick. What am I going to do? Here I am doing my
What am I
excitable
gonna do?
side. What am I going to do? I'm the excitable sidekick within the show. I've got to. People would be disappointed if I suddenly got all kind of like, yes, level-headed and started talking
I just
like
think
that
it's. I
for
just
no
think
reason.
it's nice to talk positivity for a change.
And there's loads of positives.
And you know, it's not talking positivity about. I'm just reflecting on the game. Doesn't mean off the field. Well, things are improving there, you would say, or have improved. Let's see where it goes. But like, don't get too caught up in it. It's right now. Let's just focus on the next 5 or 6 games. And, you know, take a breather after that and see where we are.
Yeah, like I say, it's good to be able to be more positive, isn't it?
It's nice to analyse a game where you can see mass improvement. Do you know what I mean? Even though we haven't been losing, we've not been winning enough. We haven't won back to back. But a lot of the performances, you just think to yourself, oh, where's that come from? How,
Particularly at home as well.
Where's that come from? You've just come off the back of a good result. Now, where's that performance come from? And it's been the performance. You know, so some of the comments for months were, the worst performance I've ever seen. Oh, it's drab. Oh, the football's shocking. But, you know, there was spark, there was zest in their play on Saturday. You know, I think it was the second or third goal where it's rebound off the guy and come across the box.
Was that Immers'
Yeah, and I think people would say, oh, that was a bit fortunate. But that's due to the tempo and the pressure you're putting on people. You know, that's creating your own luck, if you like.
Yeah, that was Immers' goal. I think it hit
That was a great finish.
shot.
Yeah.
He just rifled into
Ricochet
the corner.
across. Yeah, but you create
Yes,
that.
it was good.
If you're not up in there and you're not, you know, creating that pressure and that tempo, then those things don't fall your way.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob says Immers is a great signing, looks a real threat, but if Amiobi was available, would Slade have played him instead of Immers? Maybe he would have. Maybe it doesn't matter anymore.
Maybe it doesn't matter, John. That's what I'm trying to say about the Kenwyne Jones thing. Let's just concentrate on what...
I think he would have. I do, I think.
What are you trying to second guess the man for?
Well, he had done
He
in the
would have.
previous games.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably
Immers
a
was
fair
sat on the
thing
bench.
To assume.
Well, he might have had a plan.
He had that Brighton side
all along.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he didn't, but, you know, I definitely give the benefit of the doubt. I want to see him go on a run, and that's it. I don't care. You know, and I think they got the capabilities now to do just that. I don't care how they found the side, if they found it at the bottom of a well or, you know,
It's a
top of
beautiful thing when I
stars.
look at your markings and I see David Marshall with one of the lowest scores.
Well, I was a bit rough on him. He just didn't have a, you know.
Well, that's
I
one-
should have
that's
put
the
him up
point I'm
from
making.
that. Oh, right. Yeah, he probably deserved more than
No, he doesn't. I don't want
It
you
is
to
a
put
six, it's not
I don't,
four
no,
or
I don't want you to put him up.
No.
Is the point I'm trying to make.
did
I
well
want
swirling them.
I want the Whittinghams
Yeah.
and the Pilkingtons to be on 7s and 8s and 9s, and Marshall to be on a 4 or 5. Not because he's done anything wrong, but because he hadn't had nothing to do.
Yeah.
I just look at that there and
couple
say,
of
right,
stops.
yeah. Apart from Riles, I think you're being a bit cold too there, because even though he didn't do anything unbelievably good, he still had a great solid performance. I would say that was a 7 performance at least.
Bring someone in for Rolls.
Why?
The Cashwe. I don't know. I'm just. Hey, hang on. This is a show where we talk about football.
Okay, so I'm asking you why.
Okay, I'll agree with
but I'm
everything
asking
you say
why.
from now
I'm
on.
asking you why. Because you just won 4-1. And you're asking for consistency. And we haven't been, listen,
last time I checked the boot-
let me just say, it's the inconsistency.
Wish I'd worn my
It's the
bra now.
inconsistency of the starting 11, which has continued change. Okay, 3 or 4
All right.
players, 3 or 4
I'm playing
players.
devil's advocate.
Okay,
Does anybody think Raoul, someone like Dick Ashoy, could
Leave
come
Raoul
in for
there,
Raoul?
leave Raoul there.
All right,
Good
all right.
balance. I thought
Well,
it was a good
that
balance.
was an attempt at lively debate on a football sort of show. A football show.
We can't be getting
This
involved.
is a football debate show, right? I'm coming to the wrong So now I have to.
Wait, I think you're trying to justify your 6 you gave me. I think that's what you're trying to do, if truth be known.
And what about Simon Moore in for Marshall? You only got a 6 as well. I mean, that's got to be a short. If I'm only giving him a 6, he's got to be out the next game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it was good.
Straight question for you, Blakey. I don't know if you'll give a straight answer to it. Rob saying, Andrew saying, Blakey, who do you think is better, Lex Immers or Tony Watt?
Oh, I mean...
Meanwhile, Dylan says Tux would be the worst manager ever. That's a little...
I'd like to see a bit more of Immers. But I think they're different players, aren't they? What, like the run with the ball, dribble
Well, I
a
was
lot.
surprised to see that guy earlier comparing them, because I hadn't made the connection myself.
I can't make that.
I thought they were very different players.
I'm not gonna. Let me reserve judgment on that one.
Well, I don't think I'm joking.
Well,
I say
ask
2
me in
goals
another-
in 2 starts.
Ask me in another 6 or 7 games when we've had a good look at him. You know.
Yeah.
Have a real good look at him. So I'm not ducking the question, Andrew.
Yes.
We'll put a note down and 6 or 7 games.
And Blakey will come round your
We'll
house
come
one
back.
evening when you're least expecting it and tell you the answer.
answer.
When you're relaxing with your girlfriend watching a DVD.
Immers. Bye.
Immers. Now put the kettle on.
Oh, there we go. Colin asking another question of you, but although I think you've kind of what you've been saying. Performance is sometimes more important than the result, Blakey. Can you not say
read?
that Saturday's... I'm trying to. It's not a very well constructed sentence.
All he's got to do is
Don't
read
try
it
and
out.
blame
right?
the
It's not
fans.
very poorly.
Don't try and blame them.
The grammar police have arrived now. Dolly, the grammar. If you're sending in a comment, make sure it's in perfect English or don't want people to read it at all.
So
Come on, man. Read out your thing. Come on.
Can you not say that Saturday's performance does not give us confidence?
I tell you what, it is really badly good. I'm sure it's got a double negative in it
has
somewhere
got a
along the
double
line.
negative.
isn't it?
So Saturday's
He seems to be
performance.
suggesting that at some point you've sort of not said that the performance was great. I don't know, but
We all know that. We all know that the performances haven't been great. It's the inconsistency. That's what I mean. That's everyone.
but of course that performance
Concede
gives you
that.
confidence. For
We're all
Is
singing
he,
from the... We're all
we
hoping.
still haven't had his question. I think he made up his own question.
It's probably fine. It's
Just
just
could you
coming
read
through
it without
channeling
stuttering or
through-
anything?
through Dole.
Read that one there.
Oh, I can't. My glasses ain't got them.
Oh, I like the
Performance, is it?
that one there. Yeah.
Performance is somewhere more important than the result.
Hey, Dolly, do we need you anymore now? We can read the comments out. We can talk amongst ourselves.
confidence for the running. Yeah, that's exactly right. It does give us. It does give us. It does give us confidence, or should give us confidence for the running. That's what we're saying.
Definitely.
It wasn't like a game where you play in Brighton. They've been on a great run. Do you know what I mean? They're up there. They're flying.
We've only lost once away.
Yeah,
this
and
season.
it wasn't like you got lucky, or like I said, certain times you created your own luck, and we're just a better team than them. Now it's not you want that on the day, obviously, but you want that over a sustained period of time. Now you want some consistency. So yes, I do believe that's the sort of result. That's what Tux was getting so excited for, because he's thinking, if we now go and lose 3 games back to back, it's like it just crashes on this result. It's just like, I've had enough. He's like saying he's going to be a stay away. I
You
tell
could
you.
end up looking
He's one of
back.
them.
You could end up looking back and going, "Oh God, remember that game? That was Brighton. That was the best of the
That
season.
was a turning
That
point.
was great.
Yeah.
It could be a turning point. Let's hope. I really hope so.
But yeah,
you
I
can
agree.
take nothing but confidence. I can't see any negatives to be taken from that. All you can move forward is saying, right, we're a coherent side. We're good. Brighton were good. We battered them. Let's go and batter Borough.
Well, you've played a new system. You're playing without a number 9. You've got someone like Immers coming in and fitting into a system that you're playing that suits. All the players look comfortable, confident, and you've beaten a team who are near the top of the table, who have been on a great run, who are fancied to get promoted this season, or at least make the playoffs. And you've not just beaten them 1-0, 2-1. You've beaten them comfortably. It was a non-stop. It was over half time, effectively. One of the another major issue this season has been not being able to stick 2 halves together. Yeah, or you play for 20 minutes in one half and 20 minutes in. There hasn't been no consistency through team selection or pattern of plays or over the course of 90 minutes. That was an all-round performance. So going back to who asked the question again?
Oh, I can't remember.
Hey, you
Just
can't
can't
even
get the
read
stuff.
the question.
I
I
can't
don't
get
remember
the
who
stuff.
wrote
Going
it.
back to the question, yes, it's the prime result
It's a big
to go on.
confidence boost.
Yeah, it is.
Cracking. Absolutely cracking. What do we
Come
think?
on, the Bluebirds.
What are we going to do prediction-wise? What do we think then? Tomorrow night?
Well, I went for draw, loss, win. Yeah, I actually think that result Saturday, I'd go for win now. I honestly do. And sooner or later, like you keep saying, back-to-back wins. The Donkey's got a...
You're going to go on a run.
Yeah.
Going to go on a run.
So I'm going to go with...
On that fabled
I'm going to
run.
go with... I think they'll be under a lot of pressure, Middlesbrough. And I think if Cardiff go up with the attitude that there's actually no pressure on us, because expectation is still very low,
Yeah.
I think they can go up there, or they should be going up there, looking to really put it on Borough. And like we said, they've discovered or they played a system which was the sort of system you go away from home and bodes well. So I think I go like 3-1. I think they got in the goals. Yeah. I think 3-1. And I'm not saying that as a I hope. I think all things considered, I'd go with a 3-1 win. The only reservation is the fact that they've been inconsistent throughout the season. But it's been win, draw, win. It hasn't been win, loss, loss, win.
Yeah.
There's been awful lot of draws in there. So, change 4 of those draws into wins, you're in the playoffs, aren't you?
Absolutely. Tucker then?
I'll go for a 2-2 draw. I know, is that bad? I don't know. I just think Borough, at home, they got to kind of... They're desperate to keep themselves in there.
There seemed to be a
go for a
happiness
draw.
amongst the players as well. They seem to be like, I don't know, like they weren't playing with any sort of pressure on Saturday. It was strange to see because they've been so inconsistent. It was like you wouldn't look at that team Saturday and think they've had a very inconsistent season up to now.
Yeah.
They might have had a bad run of 6 or 7 games at some point, i.e. like Brighton, but you wouldn't have thought, they've been like up and down. You'd think, that's a very good team. Okay, they might have had a bad run, a blip somewhere along the line, but they're a good team. Do you know what I
You
mean?
wouldn't have imagined that they would have been so up and down, so
not producing
consistently.
that sort of performance.
It was
so
a performance that seemed to come from magical, from nowhere at all.
But it was
appeared.
similar with Wolves.
Out of deep blue, yeah.
When I went to Wolves, it was like you just thought this is a kind of game there, and all of a sudden they just clicked.
I thought that was a better performance than Wolves myself. I thought at Wolves, Cardiff
They
were
were Wolves
dominant,
goals,
and
yeah.
they were reliant on a couple of really brilliant goals. Whereas against Brighton, they were going to score. Do you know what I mean? They were just like, right, like you said, the break in the box that you must score. They put in so much pressure on. I thought it was a superior performance to that. I mean, I suppose you could say that was at home, but then again, they've been strong to. Difficult to beat at home. They haven't been putting performances like that at home at home that much. But no, massively.
It was great to see. It was. So it was like great to see.
It
But
was enough to make you buy a season ticket.
I hope
Cheap one.
I hope they just follow it up now at Borough.
I really do. I'll be so disappointed.
But again, I wouldn't be that disappointed if they lost.
Not so much Borough. No, I mean that's why it's an ideal game.
If the performance against Borough,
if the performance
is you've lost
that's
1-0,
what you want. Yeah,
2-1.
2-0. Yeah,
you can get stuff forward.
Yeah, no, I know exactly
then
what you
think
mean.
to yourself,
yeah. If they
back
come
to
away,
square one sort of thing,
if they are playing like they did on Saturday and Borough are just holding out and they go up and sneak one Borough and it's a 1-0 defeat, I think you still come away from there saying, okay, put it behind you, let's go on, Preston now, we're still on it. The disappointment is going to become if they don't play anywhere like they played against Brighton and the performance levels
That
are
was
and
the
you say,
highlight,
and
yeah.
you're writing your match report and you're going, Cardiff's inconsistency that's haunted them continues. You do not want to be writing that. You want to be writing Cardiff followed up their brilliant win with a battling showing or whatever, with another classy performance.
Yeah,
a point.
3 points.
If someone said to me, we can have a point at Borough, man, I wouldn't even get in the car. I don't want to get in the car that much to go up there, but, a point
What's wrong with Middlesbrough?
on a Tuesday night, I don't know.
Long way to
It's
go.
a long way to go,
Long
man.
way to go. A couple of predicted polls says 3-2 win for City. Ron says pressure's on Borough, City 3-0.
I agree, Ron, 100%.
Andrew says 1-1. O'Keefe, Stewie with a rare goal, he reckons.
Well, you at the bar at Wolves.
And
Don't
Di
forget that. Streamer, son. Destined for the top
You
corner.
pulled that one out. Oh,
It's one of my... I know everything about Stuart O'Keefe's career and his private life. No, I know nothing about his private life.
Just because it is Cardiff City, Di Bennett says, when we expect them to get beat, they win, and vice versa.
Yeah.
We'll lose 4-1. There we go.
Reverse psychology.
We're not ending on that. I think they'll
No,
win.
it's reverse psychology. I see where he's coming from. If I say they're losing 4-0, they'll win. That's a good... That's a good...
I've tried that one this season, mate.
Oh, have you?
remember? We went-
Did you try that by
Yeah,
saying
we
they lose
tried
against
we
Brighton?
lose.
And
No, we
it
tried.
worked.
No, we tried that one a couple of months ago.
Let's face it, we're a bit like Slade. We've tried everything.
No, he hasn't tried everything. He tried something
He
different
almost
on
has
the
now.
weekend.
He almost has.
Now and again, you
It
stumble
worked.
on the...
That phrase "stumbled upon"
I know,
is
it's awful,
it's
it's
an
terrible.
horrible.
It's like he's
phrase.
walking down the training ground and when someone played a 4-2-3. Who set that up? That looks good.
Well, I don't want to say if Amiobi hadn't been suspended, I bet he.
Oh, shush.
It's too
Thank you,
late now.
John. Thank
Good
you.
job, doing a good job.
Who's that?
Uncle Russ.
Uncle Russ. Okay.
Yeah.
Uncle.
And he'll be here next season, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I think it.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, right, we'll leave it there, I think, chaps.
Brilliant.
Thank
Very
you very much.
good.
Thank you much for all your comments and questions for the chaps. We'll be live tomorrow evening, 7:45 kick-off.
When you got to say something about Tux's t-shirt?
No,
No.
No.
Forget the t-shirt.
forget the t-shirt. Maybe next week.
Yeah, I don't know if the t-shirts are shrinking or
I
I'm
think that's
getting
what
a
it is.
bit.
It
Is
must-
it the t-shirt shrinking?
must be
Surely we
good.
have to wash them for them to shrink. It just feels a bit tighter. I don't know. On my manly body, my rippling body. Oh, forget about the
Yeah,
t-shirts.
forget about the t-shirt. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Take care.